I, 52 female, have been married to my husband, 54, for the last 5 years, together for 6. I have a daughter, 25, with my late former husband, and my current husband has a daughter, 22, from his previous marriage. My husband divorced his ex about 7 years ago because she was a lazy, manipulative witch, his words. Unfortunately, my stepdaughter has followed in her mother's footsteps. Ever since I came into the picture, she blamed me for ruining any chance of her dad and mom ever getting back together and behaving toxically. She regularly messed up all the rooms of the house. When I would tell her to clean it up, she'd give me the cliched, "You're not my mom," spiel. Whenever her dad declined to give her something, she would cry crocodile tears or throw a tantrum until he gave in. She would also tell lies about me. She was a nightmare. When she turned 18, my husband finally had enough and kicked her out. It's been 3 years since, and her behavior seems to be improving slightly, but things are still tense between her and me. Fortunately, I don't have to see her on a daily basis, so I can live with it. Both my daughter and stepdaughter have children of their own. My daughter has a toddler girl with her husband, while my stepdaughter has a younger toddler son with her boyfriend. My daughter wants to save up for a house with her husband, so she asked me if I could babysit while she works. I was okay with that. I have a part-time work-from-home job, so I agreed to it. My stepdaughter learned about this arrangement a few days ago and called me to ask if I could do the same for her child. She couldn't ask her bio mom because she lives in another state. I just said no. It's not that I hate her kid. It's because one child is a handful already, and I don't want to give up my job, which I enjoy doing. She kept probing, but I still gave her the same response. She then tried to emotionally manipulate me by asking if I loved my bio daughter more than her. I flipped it on her and asked if she loved her bio mom more than me. She said, "Yeah, because she's my mom." So I told her that I love my bio daughter more than her because she's my daughter. When she heard that, she lost her crap and started calling me a bunch of names. I just cut the call and blocked her number. My husband is on my side, but says I shouldn't have indulged in her nonsense. I see where he's coming from, but she's an adult, and if she wants to play stupid games, then she deserves stupid prizes. I don't owe her any favors after how she's behaved and treated me over the years, but I'm wondering if I shouldn't have said what I said. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She said it herself. You are not her mother. You took her game and flipped it around on her, and boo-hoo, she didn't like it. Kudos to you for not saying anything worse, because she definitely would have deserved it. Your husband is an idiot. He should have nipped that behavior in the bud while she was still a minor and should have told her it was unacceptable to behave that way. Her behavior now into adulthood results from her parents failing her and giving in to her selfish antics. Exactly. She was taught that if she gripes and moans and throws a tantrum long enough, the other party will give in and she'll get what she wants. Give your stepdaughter another 10 to 20 years and her favorite sentence will be, "Get me your manager." I bet she hasn't even apologized for her years of appalling behavior. And now that she wants something from you, she knows where to find you. Nah, she's just salty she gets no free help from you. Suggest that she ask her dad. Or she could have thought about how much help she would need and figured out if she had the local network for that before she chose to get pregnant at only 21. I very badly want to hear the stepdaughter side of the story. I have a feeling that it would be extremely divergent from the current tale before us. OP is seething with resentment towards the stepdaughter. We never know how much OP is lying or distorting their story, or skipping key details to make them look like they're in the right. And your stepdaughter, whom you've been a parental figure to since she was 16, is a lazy, manipulative witch? God, there are some things that just should never be said. This story concerns my 2 oldest kids, Taylor, female teen, and Noah, nearly adult male. Taylor has a best friend named Anna, and they've known each other for years. She's over all the time. Noah had a crush on her and asked her out. I told him not to since it would get messy. She said yes to dating him at the beginning of last summer. Surprisingly, Taylor was okay with this, and everything seemed fine until now. Anna broke up with him 2 weeks ago, before she left on a family trip. Things settled and Taylor is still best friends with her. Since the two are still great friends, she was over yesterday to do some work. Noah was upset, and it started an argument when he approached her and told her to get out. They were at the kitchen table. She didn't leave, since he didn't have the power to kick his sister's friends out of the house, especially with Taylor making it really clear she's her guest. He came up to me and asked me to ban Anna from the home, and I told him no. This is your sister's best friend, and she isn't doing anything to you. This resulted in another argument where I told him he needed to deal with seeing her, and I told him that this would be messy from the beginning. He isn't speaking with me after calling me an unsupportive jerk. Am I the idiot for refusing to ban my son's girlfriend from the home and telling him he needs to deal with seeing her? Not the idiot. Young love, oh, how it hurts. Thank you so much. I needed to laugh at some teenage angst this morning. Your son will look back on this one day, probably after he's married and has children of his own, and laugh and realize how silly he was. Hopefully, he learns to avoid dating family friends since they don't go anywhere. Yep, that's what happens when you date someone you already have to see all the time for other reasons. Hopefully, this lesson will serve him well in the future. OP, your daughter's also super cool. I'm surprised she was okay with her brother going after her best friend. She probably knew it wouldn't last. I disagree. He got his heart broken 2 weeks ago and hasn't had the opportunity to unpack being dumped because the girlfriend went away on holiday. Now she's back. She has immediately come over to the heart of his home, and you're telling him to suck it up, get over it, and I told you so? I think it's a bit heartless. I know you warned him it would get messy, but he is nearly an adult and inexperienced, and you shouldn't use it to justify brushing over him being hurt. Your daughter and her friend could hang out at the friends for a bit, or at least in her bedroom, so he doesn't get an emotional slap in the face without due warning when he goes into the kitchen. I think you are the idiot for effectively telling him his feelings don't matter. Taylor shouldn't have to lose her best friend over this, but your son needs time to heal from losing the relationship too. He doesn't need time to get over the relationship. He's probably already over it. He was just mad because he felt like since she broke up with him, his sister and his mom should have been mad at her and not still have her come over to the house. He was acting like a petulant child who had to return a favorite toy and then didn't want the person with said toy to still hang around. I, 23 female, have a friend, Sarah, 24 female. Recently, Sarah has gained some weight, and so she bought some new clothes. I met her this week and she was complaining about how she had tried on a dress and it hadn't fit. However, she couldn't return it as she had waited a day too long. I agreed that it was annoying, but the dress looked cute and I didn't think it should go to waste, so I offered to buy it from her. She agreed it was a little big in places, but I really liked how it looked, and it's probably one of my favorite dresses. On Friday, Sarah was hosting a birthday party for her boyfriend, Sam, 25, and most of the other girls were wearing dresses. I decided to wear the dress I bought from Sarah, since no one else had seen it, and it was cheaper than buying a new dress. Before I left, I took a photo with some of the other girls who were coming. Sarah messaged me, asking if I could please not wear that. It turns out she hadn't bought it from a shop. It was a gift from Sam, and she didn't want to tell him it didn't fit. This dress was much more expensive than she had told me, and it came from a specific designer. At this point, we were all about to get into my friend's car, and I wasn't about to tell them to wait for me, so I just went and acted like I hadn't seen the message. When I got there, Sarah took me aside and told me she'd give me a lift home to change. I said no, and she told me to leave. At this point, I was annoyed. I said it was Sam's birthday and he could express it if he had an issue. Later that evening, he complimented the dress and said it was just like one he had bought Sarah not long ago for their anniversary. At that point, she said she wasn't feeling well and went upstairs. She messaged me this morning calling me a witch and an idiot. I feel like I should have been more considerate. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. The problem isn't that you wore clothes that wouldn't fit your friend. The problem is that you wore clothes she specifically asked you not to wear to spare her from embarrassment. At the very least, you're not this girl's friend because a friend would have taken the time to change, not ignored the message. What is wrong with you? Your friend gave you an extremely discounted price on the dress, presumably as a kindness to you, and this is how you repay her? Now, it wasn't the best of Sarah not to be upfront with Sam about the dress, but it clearly wasn't for malicious reasons, and more so out of insecurity. It would have taken you 2 minutes to change it to something else and save Sarah a lot of hurt. On top of that, you dare refuse to leave her home and the party she was hosting? You're vile. I'm just wondering what excuse OP would have given to her friends if she went to change. Telling them Sarah asked her to change might cause the group to be annoyed with Sarah, and some petty remarks might be made during the party. If OP told them the dress was a gift from Sam to Sarah, it might cause problems for Sarah if it got back to Sam. I think it's not the idiot. Sarah should have been upfront with you about where the dress came from and should have communicated better with you. Oh crap, hold on, give me 5 minutes. I gotta run back in for something. Come out wearing different clothes. Anyone ask? I just realized I wouldn't be comfortable wearing that dress all night. It was itchy. Sorry for the delay. Let's party. It's unsurprising that so many people don't know how to maintain friendships or sacrifice for someone else's comfort. OP, you are the idiot. LOL, stop playing dumb. You know what you did. I, 28 female, gave birth to a baby girl a week ago. I'm slightly obsessed, honestly, and my husband, 28, isn't too far behind me. Everything about our daughter's perfect. To say I'm very protective already is an understatement, but I will admit that I'm a bit wrong here, though I can't tell. I feel that I'm mostly valid. So basically, my mother-in-law was a crap mom to my husband and his brother. The amount of times I've heard her talk about how she used to leave them home by themselves when they were 3 or 4 years old while she went to work, 12 to 16-hour shifts at the hospital, or she went to the laundromat and would come home to the police there, is insane. Then when the boys were 6 and 7, she left the country to visit her mother and left the boys with their father, who didn't know them and refused all contact for over a year. In the end, the boys ended up in foster care for over 2 years. Their dad brought them to CPS and dropped them off. And when she did regain custody of them, she once again left them home alone because she started seeing some guy who didn't want kids and moved in with him. So the boys fended for themselves for 5+ years. She bought them groceries and made sure they went to school, but they lived alone in a trailer on their family's property. She tried being a mom again when they were 16 and 17, and my husband has forgiven her, but I don't trust her. I would never in a million years trust her to watch my daughter because of what she put her children through. I understand that years have passed since all this happened, and yes, she tries making up for it now, but she's still very much in the mindset of her not doing anything wrong because my husband turned out all right. He has severe abandonment issues. Her other son has been in prison since he was 23. So she came over here a few days ago and said something like, I need to get a crib for my house so he has somewhere to sleep. I asked, why? And she said, well, for when I'm babysitting. Originally, I told her that we wouldn't need a sitter for quite some time, and she argued that I would need to go back to work and that daycares can't be trusted. I don't even know why it came out of my mouth, but I said, neither can you. I wouldn't let you or a daycare watch my baby. Now there are issues because everyone is angry that I would mention that she's untrustworthy, except my husband, but he's disappointed. Edit. He isn't disappointed that I won't let his mom watch the baby because he said he doesn't trust her either, but he expected me to sugarcoat it and let her believe there was a chance she would someday be allowed around our baby, unattended, to babysit her. So he basically wanted me to lie to her and make her believe there was a chance when there wasn't. Not the idiot. Why would you trust her with your young child when she neglected her own children? I wouldn't trust her to care for a goldfish. She was deemed an unfit mother and had children removed from her care. She should never be allowed unsupervised with your children. Why does it fall on you to sugarcoat anything? I can't believe your husband still talks to her in all honesty. Seconded, being nice? Why would OP? This is the type of thing to just put as a hard no. Do not give the mother-in-law a chance to claim some type of grandparents' rights. Even if they don't legally exist, it's a pain to deal with in any way. Tell your husband to get his butt in counseling and figure out what's wrong with him, that he would throw his child in the trash to appease his garbage mom. The fact that he wanted you to lie and risk your baby's future health is BS. And I sincerely hope he can grow a spine and stand by you. She deserves to be told what a crap mom she was, and that's why she won't be trusted to be alone with the baby. I, a female teen, have a birthday soon, and I'm having a big party to celebrate. I have a stepsister teen who's autistic. She's fairly high-functioning, but very spoiled, and throws tantrums whenever she doesn't get what she wants. When I was little, she always ruined my birthday parties, so I stopped having parties with my mom's family. I usually have parties with just my dad's family and my friends. This year, for my birthday, I will have a bigger party, which my dad is mostly paying for, but I'm inviting my mom, stepdad, stepbrother, and half siblings, young teen male and tween female. I'm having a party with about 90 people, and over the weekend, my grandma will take me and some of my friends and cousins to their cabin in the mountains. I do not want my stepsister to come to the party or the cabin. I know she's going to ruin it. She gets jealous whenever I get anything, and my dad plans to gift me my dream car at the party, so I know she'll throw a tantrum. She always steals the attention from me, and I just don't want her there. I'm not inviting her to the cabin either, because it's just for my cousins on my dad's side and my friends. I'm not that close to my stepsister. Besides, we're going to hike, boat, ride horses, and do other outdoor events that I know my sister can't handle. She's going to start crying if we go on the water, and she can't walk further than a mile without getting tired. Yesterday, my stepsister told me that she's really excited about my party because it's at the zoo and she loves it there, and she's never stayed in a cabin before. I told her she wasn't invited, and she started crying and ran to her mom. My mom called me an uncaring brat for not inviting her and telling her so bluntly. She said that she and my stepdad aren't coming either if she's not invited. I don't think I'm the idiot because it's my party, and I don't want her to ruin it. Edit. My mom probably told her that she was invited. I printed invitations for my mom, stepdad, stepbrother, and half siblings, and my mom might have assumed that she was included in her and stepdad's invitation. Sorry, but you are the idiot. You don't invite a whole family and leave one out. You should have discussed your concerns with your mother. Honestly, an invite is expected, given that all members of the home are invited to a party with 90 people, including family. The greater the number of people there, the more the quirks of the stepsister should be diluted. No, you can definitely invite a whole family and leave one out if that person has a history of being crappy. My cousin once stole $500 from me, so I still invite his sister and parents to any events I hold, but he doesn't get an invite. It's her party, she can invite whoever she wants, full stop. That's like saying you have to invite your bully from class because you invited everyone else in the class who are your friends. No, you do not. OP, sometimes you have to be the villain in other people's minds so you can be the hero for yourself. The idiots are your mom and stepdad. They clearly haven't taught the autistic daughter how to behave at parties, etc., where it isn't all about her. I'm willing to bet they've enabled her over her entire life. Stick to your guns, OP. It's your party, and if I were you, I wouldn't want it wrecked either. You only get one of these teen birthdays. Not to mention, your bio dad is paying for the whole shindig. You invite whoever you please.